Today we're going to use the comparison test to find divergence or convergence. And now, as you may guess, with comparison, we're going to be looking at two sums, right? So say we have some sum, let's say, some sum from n equals 1 to infinity, right? So it's greater than 0, right? And we'll call this sum a sub n. And then say we have some second sum, right? And same limits. We're going to go from n equals 0 to n equals 1 to infinity of b sub n. Let's say, for simplicity's sake, let's say that our sum of a sub n is less than or equal to our sum for b sub n, right? So this is what we're given. We're given two sums, and we know that one is going to be less than or equal to the other. How does this help us? Well, let's say we know that the sum of b sub n, right? Let's say we know that that converges, right? If b sub n converges, then what we could say, oh, that's horrible, but you know what I'm writing. So if we know that the sum of b sub n converges, then we can for sure say that, here, let me write a little arrow. Then we can for sure say that the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of a sub n converges as well. And I'm just going to write con. Likewise, right? Let's say we are given our sum of a sub n, right? Let's say we know that that for sure diverges. So I'm going to write that. The sum n equals 1 to infinity of a sub n, we know that this diverges. Then we also know that our greatest summation b sub n from n equals 1 to infinity is also going to diverge. And this is very useful information. And we're going to use this in an example right now. So say we are given this series, right? Here, I didn't finish writing our bounds. We're going from n equals 1 to infinity. Now, we're not really sure if this is going to converge or diverge, right? But there's a sum I'm thinking of that we can compare this to, right? Say, let's compare this to the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of 1 over n to the fourth. Now, why am I choosing n to the fourth? Well, this is something that I can easily tell if it converges, right? Because this is a p series, right? In this case, our p is 4, which is greater than 1. So we know that this series is going to converge by our p series, right? And 1 over n to the fourth is always going to be larger than 1 over n to the fourth plus 4. If that doesn't make intuitive sense to you, then I would like you to just plug in any number for n and you'll be able to see, right? Let's say we plug in 1 for n, then 1 over 1 to the fourth is just 1, right? But 1 over 1 to the fourth plus 4 is going to be 1 over 5, and 1 is definitely greater than 5. So we know for a fact that this series is greater than our other series that we're trying to tell if it converges or diverges. And since our larger series converges, we can for sure say by our comparison test that this series that we were given and unsure about converges. Now, let's say we were looking, if we had a different example, right, and we didn't know if it converges or diverges, but we knew of a smaller series that diverged, then we could say the one we were given diverges also. So this is where the comparison test can be pretty useful. So with that, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you learned something.